Good morning, everybody. Pastor Rick here, Broadman Baptist Church, and this is the Broadman Word for April 16th, 2021. Hope you're having a wonderful day in the Lord. A little wet and dreary today, but you know what? Has nothing to do with our spirits. Our spirits can still be high and out there and showing the love of Christ. And today, I want to talk to you about participation or commitment. It's a big question. Um, it was once explained to me that uh, participation or involvement versus commitment could be explained with a simple ham and eggs breakfast. The chicken participates or is involved, but the pig is committed. And you think about that for just a second. In church and in our spiritual lives, we have a similar situation to think about because when people are involved, particularly in a church, they're involved for years, and they little by little they roll off of one ministry into another, or they moved on from this committee or that, and they will eventually find themselves being a little bit cynical or maybe soured on the whole situation because they never really found their niche, or they had this problem or that problem with people or the work or the schedule, all kinds of things. So you could end up feeling poorly about the very things that you were involved with. What that should be thought of as involvement means that you don't really have a stake in it. You may have been part of the decision making of the committee or ministry or whatever. Maybe not. Maybe you just participated. You were involved. But as you sort of had experiences and then things happened and it became not quite as easy or wasn't producing what you thought it would produce, then you kind of back off, and that's what involvement allows you to do. That's what participation allows you to do. You don't really have a dog in the fight, so to speak. So when things don't go well, or things happen with the other ministry workers, or maybe it's just not what you come to know as not your calling, which might be true, but usually not. What happens then is the involvement can very easily dissolve. We have a biblical principle here that covers this from Matthew chapter 6 and verse 21. When you hear it, I'm sure you're going to say, oh yeah, I've heard that before. It's for where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. And so what you then think of is, if I was participating or involved in a ministry, was that really where my treasure was? Because if it's not where your treasure was, then your heart wasn't there either. What is your treasure? Well, your energy, your time, your love, your concern for your church and its members and other people, reaching the lost. That's your treasure. And so we should then invest our treasure in our ministries, in our church, because if we're not, then it's just involvement or participation. Involvement will say, well, this isn't my deal, or, I might care about this, but not really. You have to ask yourself with your church membership, am I committed? Is this where my treasure is? Am I going above and beyond? And do I have the pride of ownership of this thing? Do I feel like I have some ownership in Broadman Baptist Church or whatever congregation you're part of? Is there a pride associated with that? Do you invest your treasure, not just your money? Do you invest your treasure in this? Because that's going to let you know that's where your heart is. Participation says, I'll probably be there. I'll probably do that. I hope it's good. But if it's not, Okay, so commitment, though, is going to do things to make sure it's good, make sure it's honoring to God, make sure it's excellent. Even when it might fall short, it is still an excellent effort. That's the difference between participation and involvement and commitment. Lots of folks participate in church. They show up for the services. Some of them get involved. They'll do a little something here or there. But do we really have our treasure in the church? That's where it becomes commitment and separates itself from just involvement or participation. It's important for us to be committed to what it is we do for the Lord, and that includes our worship time. So if you find yourself being a participant or being involved, and maybe you've become a little cynical about service in general or any particular ministry, check your level of involvement. Maybe if you put a little bit more treasure into it, you could bring about a change not only in yourself and your heart, but in the lives of others, other church members, the people that the ministry serves, and people outside the ministry as well. Because heart changes don't usually stay confined. They show everywhere. So I'm going to encourage you today to evaluate your treasure. Are you involved in participating at Broadman, or are you committed to Broadman and service to the Lord in general? Big question. Only you can answer it. You need to spend some time, quiet time, prayer time, little devotional maybe even, and really dig in and find out how is it you could dedicate your treasure to your Christian ministry, whatever that might be. Listen, I hope you have a wonderful day. I love you. Take care, and I'll see you next time.